this is another video I'm putting up as kind of a summation on my points regarding the issue of same-sex marriage. I'm going to be showing some stuff here from this book titled Intimate Relationships. This is a book by authors Brehm, Miller, Perlman, and Campbell. It's used in psychology courses all over the nation, all throughout the world likely. If you don't believe me, you can check it. Again, it's Intimate Relationships. I checked at the bookstores, at online bookstores at Yale and Harvard. It's for sale there at the exorbitant over $80 price for just a mere paperback. So the first one I'm going to show here is, let's see if I can get this on here. It is blah. This is a bar graph. Now this shows the instances of reported non-monogamy in relationships. Now to note here, you have gay men. The instances of non-monogamy reported in gay men relationships since the start of their relationship is over 80%. This is one fact I bring out to demonstrate the problematic nature of the dynamics of same-gender marriage. Now, this is a graph demonstrating the how many instances of sexual intimacy there are between different kinds of couples over the course of their relationship. As you can see, it's got these different separate groups, and it demonstrates over certain periods of time what percentage of each of these groups was sexually intimate, well, the frequency of their sexual intimacy. And I'm not sure if you can see it here, but let's see. This bottom one is lesbians, and this bottom bar on the lesbians is the point I'm pointing to, is that's the percentage of lesbians that after 10 years are sexually intimate once a month or less. Now I want you to just think about that. For any of you that grew up with your parents, with two parents, and it's entirely possible that some of you might have gone through this, but imagine if your parents were not sexually intimate at all, or very, very, very rarely. How would that have impacted your view on life? Now think about that with lesbian relationships. Now even if you look at gay men here, and compare gay men to heterosexual married couples after 10 years. So heterosexual married couples, that very small bar, that's how many people are sexually intimate once a month or less. You compare that to gay men, and it's twice as much. So gay men or lesbians are significantly less sexually intimate as partners after merely 10 years together. Again, this is taken from the book Intimate Relationships by Brehm, Miller, Perlman. Now, I point these out just as evidences that the dynamics of different gender groupings for different couples is significant. These are things, those facts that I pointed out to you, are things that clearly transcend one's sexual orientation. They transcend gender roles, cultural gender roles. And the reason I point that out is because this means that gender in and of itself is an important factor, not just our sexual identity or sexual orientation or the gender roles of our society, but gender matters. If you're a male, you're going to be pursuing a higher variety of partners, as was evidenced in here by the fact that over 80% of gay men in relationships reported instances of non-monogamy. The long-term intimacy in same-gender relationships drops off at a much faster rate than it does in heterosexual married relationships. So the whole idea that gender doesn't matter, or that the dynamics that are produced by gender don't matter to kids, is it's just not defendable. It's not tenable. And I would hope more people would see this and recognize this. Even if you still, knowing those facts, thinks that it's a civil right or whatever, you have to acknowledge that those things impact children. The intimacy of parents of children significantly impacts their welfare, and also the tendency towards non-monogamy, and generally I would think that would be considered infidelity. And for those of you who talk about, I know I've had some people when I bring up these points talk about, oh, well, there's open relationships. Again, this book is great. If you'll get this book, and if you'll study the actual psychology of human relationships, you'll find out that in the studies they've done, all the studies I'm aware of on open relationships, is that there's still a feeling of betrayal. Even when both sides have consented to having it open, there's still a feeling in each person of infidelity, of hurt. So even if the non-monogamy is something chosen by both sides, it still impacts the relationship. And to say that that couldn't impact any children involved is just a specious argument. So, again, intimate relationships, if you can get a hold of this book, or if you can just study the psychology of intimate relationships overall, I think it would be a great benefit. I think it's really hard to understand how people come to these conclusions that marriage should be so abruptly and so kind of willy-nilly redefined without considering the future of society.